if they get away with it with Russia, the Russia hoax, what's ever going to stop it?
Accountability.
And does that mean jail?
Accountability has to take place.
Is that jail?
We've referred all of the documents we have found. We will continue to refer them to the Department of Justice for a criminal referral.
Miranda Devine continues to get all the heavy hitters for her podcast on Pod Force One. It's amazing. Anyway, you already know Miranda Devine. She's always welcome on this show. Miranda, you had a chance to sit down with Tulsi Gabbard, and you understand what a mean cynic I am about all these people, but I've been so impressed by Tulsi Gabbard. Were you impressed?
Totally. She is the real deal. And I think there's something special about her because she was sort of blooded in the Democratic Party machine. Remember, she was actually the vice president of the DNC at one point, and she was targeted for destruction by Hillary Clinton. So if anybody knows the wicked ways of Clinton, Obama, and the rest of these Democrat wrongdoers, it's Tulsi Gabbard. And since she herself was the victim, like Donald Trump, of their dirty tricks, she kind of knows where the bodies are buried and how they work to try and obstruct any transparency. And she's pretty determined, I think, that accountability will fall on these people.
Miranda, do you get the sense that she carries that chip around on her shoulder? Not that I'm complaining, frankly, I hope she does, but do you get the sense that that's a motivating factor for her? When you're put on a domestic terrorist watch list, that tends to get people upset.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really characterize it as a chip on her shoulder because I think it's less personal than, about her concern for the fact that, really democracy was subverted, the people's will in the 2016 election when they voted for Donald Trump was subverted by these sore loser Democrats, by Hillary Clinton, by Barack Obama, and his ego, wanting to salve his ego because he was so conclusively repudiated by the election of Donald Trump, who was really the opposite of Obama, the anti-Obama. And so I think that's more what motivates her. And I think she's particularly sort of exercised about it because she went to war. She's a lieutenant colonel in the National Reserve. She went to war as a medic. She was in Iraq. She saw several of her compatriots killed and maimed in a war that its predicate was false information and false intelligence, fake intelligence, manufactured intelligence. And that's exactly what's happened in this case by some of the same characters. I mean, she points out in the interview that Jim Clapper, her predecessor as DNI under Obama, had boasted freely about the fact that he was behind some of that intelligence that led us into the Iraq war in the first place that turned out not to be true about, WMDs. So those same deep staters, intelligence people, national security people who have their own hidden malevolent agendas have been in charge for a very long time. And she's seen firsthand the consequences. And I think, therefore, she wants to root it out.
What'd she tell you about the Russia hoax stuff?
Well, that, it comes from Obama and Hillary Clinton are at the top of the tree, that this intelligence was manufactured and that it was done to delegitimize Donald Trump's 2016 victory and to sabotage his presidency. I mean, she calls it a years-long coup. And in fact, that is exactly what it was. It really crippled his presidency, crippled his ability to get people to work for him, get the people who did work for him to trust him, always in the back of their minds, particularly the more sort of institutionalist-minded people that were his appointees in his administration. In the back of their mind was always this, question about really, was Donald Trump an agent of Russia? And the other thing is that that hobbled his ability to normalize relations with Russia. She talks about this, which is something that would have been beneficial for America and the world, because really China was our most potent adversary. Russia's, small kind of inconsequential country. And and this was something that, the Obama administration was trying, multiple administrations thought that would be a good idea. But Donald Trump, I guess, had to kind of prove his own innocence by not going easy. In fact, I think he bent over backwards to be seen to be not friendly to Russia in his first term, which was not what he had planned to do. And as a result, I think any opportunity to kind of bring Russia into the sort of civilized orbit of countries that just fell by the wayside. And the result is what you see now, is this tragedy unfolding in Ukraine.
Why do you think they're so worried about us normalizing relations with Russia? Miranda, every time I dig into this with people who know things, it always comes back to they were worried about us cozying up to Russia, worried about us cozying up to Russia. What is with this never-ending live or die commitment to fighting with Russia until the end of the age? What is it?
Look, I think there are multiple reasons. One may be that if you stop Russia from being the big, the demon, then you're focusing more on China, which is much more of a threat. And a lot of people in this country with a lot of power are making and have made a lot of money out of China. And China has completely cannibalized American manufacturing, now holding us over a barrel on rare earth minerals and so on. And so I think that the short-sighted reason was, Joe Biden was one of those who really encouraged America to allow China into the World Trade Organization in 2001. And so that sort of project that has enriched so many people, I think, would have been stymied if Russia was no longer perceived as any sort of a problem, and we focused our attention on China. And then, of course, it's the old cliche about the military-industrial complex. It's good for business to have Russia be the enemy, and all these countries nearby and NATO have to arm up to defend against it.
What an ugly, tangled web. Miranda, keep exposing it. I appreciate you, as always. Thank you. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.